Even though the ink is barely dry on the most recent cost of living increase for Social Security, we're looking forward to 2023, and there's some good news and some not so good news down the road. And I want to share with you some of my thoughts. But before we get there, please subscribe to my channel. I have over 30 years in this business, and I want to share with you some of the conversations I have with my clients, some of the insights that I get from listening to others so that you can do a better job of managing your own retirement. So the word of the day is inflation. And it really is a double-edged sword. And I want to share with you how the inflationary scenario sort of crafted where we are right now and how it might impact how things might look in 2023. Where are we right now? So the bad news is, right? And what's sort of underlying and causing this inflationary spike right now? We've all seen the headlines about supply chain issues as a result of the pandemic. Container ships are sitting out in ports all throughout the world, unable to get the goods onto shore. And then when they get on shore, there's a lack of truckers who are able to get it from point A to point B. And when they are able to get it from point A to point B, are they able to deliver it to the stores that we're headed to? For instance, have you been to the grocery store lately? Seen the price of some of the items there, or even seen some of the empty shelves? I'll share with you a story. We have a boat, small boat, but we needed some power steering fluid over the summer. I went to the local shop. They usually have 12 or 15 different types of power steering fluid. They had one. That was it. And we've all got these stories, right? So I know you've experienced this too as well. And I actually want to share with you a recent chart that came out to reflect the increase in some of these prices in one of the indexes that comes out from the government, which is called the CPIU, which tracks retail prices. So let me take you to my screen for just a moment. So these are some very real price increases over the course of a year, September through September. Bread is up 7%, steak, 22% increase. You've got gasoline at a 42% increase. Car rentals, anybody traveling, trying to rent a car, it's not an illusion. It's a 43% increase. Used vehicles, anybody trying to buy a used vehicle, almost a 25% increase. And across all items that the CPIU covers, it's about a 5.4% overall increase from last September through this September. Now, what's interesting with all of this, and as it has impacted some of our behavior, particularly for those who are on fixed income, it's been very difficult to find in this low interest rate environment with the inflation going up and interest rates, they're supposed to be going up but haven't been up yet. For those who are on fixed income, they're in a bit of a conundrum. Let me share with you a story of a friend of mine who's 89 years old. He has been retired for 36 years, and for all that time, he's been invested in municipal bonds. It's been great for him. But those bonds are maturing. He's getting his principal back, and now what does he do with it? With interest rates as low as they are, so he's now having to go into the stock market, and he actually bought a basket of dividend yielding stocks. So one of the problems is, as we find ourselves in this space right now, where inflation has kicked up, which is the bad news, but I can say here, we're going to go into the good news, which is, what's happened with the cost of living increase on Social Security. But we're stuck at a place, what do we do with our money now to invest it either in bonds or CDs or the stock market, where we don't want to lock in these low rates in anticipation of what follows when inflation hits, which is interest rates going up. So I did mention there is good news on this, right? For those who are on a fixed income or are getting Social Security, we did get this massive 5.9% increase in the cost of living, which was the biggest increase we'd gotten in 39 years. We had been averaging somewhere in the vicinity of about 1.5% over the past 15 years or so, even though the basket of goods that we buy have gone up at a higher rate. Now, as I mentioned, 2022, the cost of living adjustment increase is 5.9%. That's based on the third quarter snapshot of the CPIU, which I don't want to get too technical here, but it also tracks pricing from the government. But that's the metrics that the Social Security administrators use. It's the third quarter's year-over-year increase in that benchmark and what they'll do next year for the cost of living. And again, we got a 5.9% increase. So what's going to happen next year? And these are all questions about Social Security, right? And as you know, or may not know yet, I have published my fourth book, Don't Outlive Your Money in Retirement. And the second chapter is devoted to Social Security. What I want you to do is go to our banner, click on Free Chapter. I will get you all the answers that you need for Social Security, and it'll give you some more clarity in terms of what you need to do to maximize your household income and the strategy you should take. Believe it or not, there's 567 different strategies. So click on the banner. So let's take a look at what might happen next year. This is my opinion, certainly no guarantees looking forward. I just try to read the tea leaves, right? So this is from Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary of the United States. She says, on a 12-month basis, the inflation rate will remain high into next year because of what's already happened. But I expect improvement by the middle to end of next year, second half of next year. And then there's this from the Fed chairman, Mr. Jerome Powell. Inflation has increased notably and will likely remain elevated in coming months before moderating. So what does all of this mean? Well, from my perspective, the way I look at it, and I've talked to people about the supply chain and inflation, and it does appear, no matter how much Wall Street wants to tell us this is transitory, we're going to get back to normal pretty soon, there's a lot of things that seem to be broken or are having trouble getting repaired that would bring the inflation numbers down very quickly. So I do anticipate, again, no guarantees, that by the third quarter of next year, when Social Security is looking to post their cost of living adjustment for 2023, that it could again be a very significant number, just like they did for 2022. Now, the bad news for that is the following. The trustees also mentioned with the 5.9% increase going into 2022 that as a result, the liquidity for funding 100% of the promises Social Security has made, that number was out to like 2034. Whereas if we didn't do anything from now until 2034, the Social Security Administration trustees say that they would only be able to pay about 80% of those promises by the year 2034, assuming nothing was done in Congress. As a result of the recent cost of living increase, the trustees actually brought that back a year from 2034 to 2033. So we're going to have to stay tuned to what's going to happen with cost of living, inflation, what's the impact on us on investors and retirement. So check out our playlist and stay tuned.